Well, hello everybody. My name is Todd Bright. Welcome to All in Gestures. It's our awesome workshop. This is Redline Live. This is our feedback and Q&A session. So thanks for hanging out. We had a great time this morning. Mr. Michael was amazing. What did we do? Jack Black, School of Rock. It was great. But this week on Redline Live, we're looking at drawings from last week. So our members submit their work and we look at some great stuff. And we did George Washington, so we're going to see quite a bit of those today. And that's it. So checking that chat, Mr. Luke, thanks for joining us. I see you over there. Very good. And Eric is here. Well, it just so happens I'm looking at your drawings today. So let's get right into it, okay? There we go. All right, so the first artist we have, this is Anna's work. All right, let me fix the screen there, bring her a little bit lower. There we go. Let's tweak it out on me. Here we go. Okay, Anna, this is your first time submitting, and thank you for joining us. This is cool. Beautiful drawings, really fun. What do we got here? Oh, let's see. Photoshop is not letting me do certain things. Hang on, guys. Converting colors. What the? Okay, here we go. All right, sorry guys. Let me, welcome to live TV. Just trying to do my Photoshopy-ness. There we go. Now we're talking. Very cool. Let's see here. I love the attitude and the vibe of this is George Washington and Martha Washington. We had two models for that portion of the class, and it was great. So Matt and Jenny did a great job. Really fun. A lot of detail in those costumes. So it was kind of crazy. I don't have the actual pose in front of me, but what I'm thinking about when I'm looking at these two, really nice feeling. I just almost want to push it a little bit and do some staging stuff. Let's see here. I'm gonna tweak my brush here. Okay, I don't want to do too much to your work, but I feel like we could push it a little bit. I'm gonna have that back leg crossing. I think, and even though the model might be doing this, I almost want to bring that arm out a little bit, just to have that connection, that hand-holding connection, a little bit away from the body, just looking at that silhouette. You know, but I love the face that you did and all those wonderful things. Really nice feeling in your drawings, like really, what do you call that? There's like personality going on. It's fun. But I want to pull that away a little bit and give them a little bit more room. I know it's tough when you're, I'm going to trace this real quick, because what I want to do is pull them a little further away from each other, because I love the pulling in Martha there. But I wanted to clear that space, just to give them a little bit more room. So again, I'm gonna just kind of trace what you did here. I don't want to tweak that really, but I feel like we could do a little bit more. And I almost want to turn her a little bit. That was an interesting costume piece that it was like these two pieces of fabric that kind of went over her shoulders and connected down to her waist. And I want to turn her just a little bit, like if this is her rib cage, just a little bit 3/4-y, you know what I mean? And then dragging that arm. I think she was holding her dress or something like that. Actually, it'd probably be more draping. So I remember he had basically helped her up from a chair and was leading her basically to the dance floor. I remember that part. But I love the straight in the dress that you have there. This is really fun. There's a lot of really nice things. Nice foot. Anyway, let me turn this off. So all that to say, just kind of pushing the silhouette a little bit. And I think I maybe simplified his arc of his... No, I pushed the arc of his belly out. So to try to give him that feeling of that motion going forward, which you have, but I feel like we could push it a little bit by leading with his broad chest there, right? And he had that amazing long jacket there. That was wonderful. So all that to say, just messing with this silhouette, just blackening that in, right? And turning her torso a little bit towards us, okay? Just to give her that forward movement as well, rather than that perfect triangle, a little bit flat. But that's just a detail, you know? But the main thing, silhouette and pushing his movement. So anyway, but lovely. A little bit of feedback. Lovely stuff. I'll move that over here. Alrighty, what else we got? Okay, this one. This was a tricky one because I think I remember the model. He was basically, Washington was, it was this moment of defeat, and him just feeling this, you know, this moment of maybe anxiety or that kind of thing. But graphically, I think his head gets lost, even though maybe Matt, our model, had it down. I feel like we could maybe add a little bit more of a bump to the silhouette, and I almost want to turn it 3/4, because not only does it get lost in the silhouette, but it almost looks like he's holding the head. It's like perfectly straight on, almost like Martha, how we turned her a little bit just to give a little bit more volume. I think with this, I want to turn him a little bit more. And I don't know if I want to lift his shoulder up or not. I don't know if that makes sense to do that. But so if I'm just feeling that anguish and he's leaning on his gun, you know, like, what does that really feel like? Sometimes you know, go ahead and get up and strike that pose, you know, just like if I'm animating, like I want to act out my scene. And sometimes you take photo reference of people or video reference. Yes, I don't think I like my shoulder up idea, but I feel like we could push this lean a little bit, almost like, and maybe Matt was doing something similar to this in the pose, but like, yeah, that's what we want to do. Shoulder up on the other end, and really making that gun, you know, part of the story in a way, like giving it a little bit more purpose to keep him up. It's like if you're in that much anguish, you know, you're leaning on this stick or this gun in this case, and like if that wasn't there, Washington might fall over. It's like supporting his grief, right? So like, I know maybe those are deep thoughts, you know, for this sketch, but it's like, but that's where we have to go, right? We have to get into that moment, like, you know, who is this character and why are they feeling grief? It's like, okay, this is George Washington and he's feeling grief on the battlefield. The weight of the world, his soldiers' lives he's, you know, responsible for, that whole thing. So it's like, when we go there, it's like, you might go, oh yeah, what does that feel like? And you might get out of your, like I said, you might get out of your seat and really, whatchamacallit, feel that pose more, and then have those little epiphanies. But anyway, Yada yada. That's all. But lovely drawings, Anna. Really nice. Anna. Gotta correct my pronunciation. I always get those wrong. Anna. But all that say, and I think the head of my drawing got really big there. Here, I'm gonna noodle on it a little bit more. Okay, moving on. Great job. Mr. Luke. There he is. Okay, all right. There we go, Mr. Dude. Hey. Oh man, I liked your Washington sketches this week. Really nice. I know you sent me this one. What would I do here? I like the graphical simplicity you have of the jacket. That's very cool. Like on his back, I'm looking at that swoosh, right? Very cool. This was, for those of you who didn't know the sequence of events with this poses, but from what I can recall, our model was taking us through this thing of Washington sitting down, maybe he was in his tent or something, writing a correspondence. It could be a war letter or a love letter to Martha or whatever he's writing. And now he's handing off these orders or this letter to be delivered to somebody. I think that was the general idea, at least in the class. But obviously, you know, artists can take it and run with it, do whatever. But I feel like in this pose, I don't know if he's, and I remember Washington's, or the pose was, he had his feet together and stuff, but I almost feel like in this pose we can go a little deeper, like, you know, he's in command and he's handing this letter, he's trusting this courier, you know, like, but here it almost looks like he's sympathetic a little bit and looking up, almost like he's in trouble and handing off something, giving back something. I wonder what we can do. Maybe to push the attitude. Because it was subtle, I remember this pose, it was tough. I wonder if we can, in Washington, another thing about him, he's also a really tall guy, you know, so he might be very much looking down, just physically, you know, to the courier. It's like, dude, this is serious business. You know. Let's see here. So I kind of wonder if we can do, he had a really long, maybe he's kind of towering over a little bit, this guy or whatever, handing him these important documents. This rolled up letter. Guard this with your life, you know. That's his hat there. So yeah, I feel like just trying to play with that attitude a little bit, like trying different things, you know. I kind of have him leaning forward, but I feel like we could also do a, yeah, just something to push him, it's his sense of command, you know. But that's it, just pushing things around. I think there's a lot of different avenues we could go, but I just might try that attitude. Anyway, well, cool, man. Thank you, sir. Submitting that stuff. And last but not least, Miss Erica. this pose I really liked. I love the legs on this. I think it had some really good energy in this pose. And yeah, I think the only thing I was thinking was this was like a tweak, because there's something really cool here. I feel like you got the feeling of that ground plane working really well. And yeah, I just really like it. The only thing is the arm. I'm just going to trace over this just for context, but without changing your pose here too much. But I feel like if he's orating to the crowd, or, you know, rallying up the troops maybe, or somebody, you know, talking to other politicians, I just wanted to, you know, clear that, let's see, that's his right arm, right? Yeah. Clear that silhouette of his head. Just want to do that. So this is just a tweak, but this was some really nice stuff happening in your drawing with this one. So I just doing that, you know. And it's like when you, and it doesn't have, you don't have to have a straight arm like completely straight or something. Just the bend like you have is cool, but just always keeping in mind, like, you know, people are always going to look to the eyes, right, and the head of the character. It's just our natural way of doing things as an audience. And so we want to get that framed really nicely. Okay? So, yeah. Just clearing that head. Just a detail. But yeah, I really love this one. Just really, something feels really good in those legs, you know. Let's push that over there. And what else we got here? What other treasures? He's loading his gun. And that's that same idea. I think we can push a little bit more command in this one. You know, it's like he's offering somebody something. But yeah. We just kind of went over that with Luke's drawing. But with this one, let's see. I wish I had the pose in front of me to see what he was doing. I feel like you have a pretty nice, and this would be tweaking stuff, so I'm kind of tweaking parts and pieces today, it seems like. I feel like we could break up, like I said, I don't have the drawing in front of me, but I feel like some of these straight-on views, we can break some of that up, and I also want to try to push a little bit of the, let's see. How can I push, even though he's kind of in this mellow position really on his knee and stuff. I wonder if there's something we could do to push the, what do you call it, urgency of he's loading a weapon, like really, you know, like banging on this thing, or, you know, like a soldier might be looking at the intended target, and they've done this loading and reloading of a gun thing so many times that, you know, that he's just, you know, banging the powder down, using that rod or whatever, or loading the gun, looking around at the target. You know, he doesn't really need to be focused all the time. So it's just an idea, you know. But so maybe I'll try that, like mix it up. I almost wonder if I did something similar in my drawing from class. You know, maybe he's looking over his shoulder the other way. You know, I think you have his arm extended pretty well. So this idea of looking over his shoulder the other way at the enemy, maybe I get this feeling of, you know, greater than and less than sign. You know what I'm saying? Like this kind of feeling, like dropping that shoulder and opening up this area. This is really sloppy, but and you can keep the knee way you have it, I guess. Part of me wants to go the opposite way, but I don't know, maybe not. And I almost want to bring this leg around. I don't have the jacket design in front of me, but I think what you got's pretty good. So let's turn off that sketch. So like something a little bit, it's one of those things when you get into the head of the character, you start to make different decisions that might work for the intensity of the moment, you know, or whatever. So he's got that. He's holding that rod, and maybe the gun's down here. So it's clear that it's a rod. He's packing his rifle or musket, whatever you call it. Cool. So anyway, all that to say, you know, just being aware of those acting decisions, and yeah, that's all. So that's my feedback on that. That's it. That's all I got today. You guys are awesome. Let's see here. Yeah, that's what I got. Yeah, thanks for submitting your work. Join us next week. This month we have, what do you call it? Our back to school theme for All in Gesture. And we just finished today Jack Black theme, School of Rock. And next week we'll be doing Miss Frizzle from Magic School Bus. So come join us. It's going to be magical. All right. Anyway, that's all. Thanks, Erica. And yeah, Mr. Lukes, thanks for hanging out. You're welcome, sir. And that's all I got. You guys have a great week, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.